defendant, Classy Hawthorne, and her husband, Cleveland Hawthorne, were in the middle of a breakup. Defendant had recently moved out of the residence, and she was in the process of moving her possessions, her items out of the home. The two were not getting along, and the relationship was very toxic. You'll see texts, you'll get to hear a conversation where she makes these threats on May 18th and May 20th. And the two of them then agreed to go to a nearby parking lot to fight. The defendant drove to the parking lot of the Living Word Christian Church on Concord Avenue, where video captured most of the remainder of the incident. The defendant stepped out of the vehicle, and she stood there momentarily. She could have left, but you'll see instead that she lunged back into the vehicle, and you actually see her attack the victim. She gets physical with him. The defendant is arguing self-defense. She has the burden of proving that. And at the end of this trial, the judge is going to instruct you that there are 3 elements of self-defense. 3 requirements that the defendant must satisfy, and she must satisfy all 3. In Ohio, there is a duty to retreat. The last element is that she honestly believed that deadly force was necessary to avoid the imminent danger of death or great bodily harm. She shot an unarmed man as he was running away. She didn't have to shoot him. She wanted to shoot him. And you can tell by what she said. And you can tell by what she did. Shooting a fleeing person is not self-defense.
It's an honest belief. It's not your belief. It's not my belief. It's Classy's belief. And so until you get in underneath her skin and live her life, you won't be able to make that determination. You will be instructed at the end of this case as to the law. And he described you not at fault in creating the situation. We're going to talk about the witnesses you're going to hear from. And he's right, there is a videotape. And that videotape is going to show 2 individuals in a car, Classy and Cleveland. It is going to show that they're in the car. And Cleveland, you're going to see, it's hard to see in that car, but you're going to see he's on top of her. We're going to talk about some of his words later, and Classy's going to tell you he choked her. The nice thing is, you're going to see those marks. You're going to know that that happened. They were in that car fighting. And Classy's going to talk to you about that, and she's going to tell you about her fears and that circumstance. Now, where we disagree a little bit already, and you're going to see we're going to disagree through this trial, is you're also going to be instructed on the castle doctrine, where you don't have a duty to retreat from your home or your car. Cleveland Hawthorne took the keys out of the ignition, and we know that because he had the keys on him. He took those keys because he wasn't going to let Classy leave. And when he comes around that car, as Micah describes, and like I said, you'll see that video, you'll see his fist clenched. He slams that car door. He comes around the car, and you're going to watch him head towards Classy. wasn't running. Evidence is gonna show you he wasn't running at all. Fleeing from the scene would have meant that he had a bullet wound in his back, and he had it. We're gonna talk about self-defense a lot over the course of this week because we believe self-defense occurred in this case, that Classy had every right to defend herself, and that is true of voluntary manslaughter, and that is true of felonious assault. An absolute right, as we all do, to defend ourselves.